Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of On the Glass. And it is a great episode of On the Glass. It is Victory Monday after the NFL returned yesterday, and what a glorious, glorious day it was for our Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars entered the bank yesterday as an 8-point underdog against the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts got the ball first and moved down the field pretty easily. And I got to be honest with you, I saw that drive and I was immediately like, oh no, this is not going to be good. Look, there is still plenty of room for improvement on that defense. The Colts' protection held up pretty well yesterday against the Jags' pass rush, but the back end is what most concerns me in the secondary. In the first half especially, and even some in the second half, there was some gaping holes in that defense that Todd Wash runs, and there was receivers running wide open. On the sidelines, in the middle of the field, there was gaping holes everywhere. And then a lot of the times when the back was coming out of the backfield to participate in the passing game, he was also running wide open. There was no linebacker coverage there for him a lot of the times either. But for the most part, after halftime, the defense played a lot better, and they had a couple big fourth down stops. You had that one fourth down where they had a pretty big gain on 4th and 1, and they went for it, and the tight end was running wide open and caught the ball. But for the most part, on thirds and shorts and 4th and shorts, the defense stepped up and played really, really well. There was that big one in the first quarter where Indianapolis was 4th and 1 on like the 4-yard line, and the defense stacked them up and stopped it and got the ball back for the offense. And that was great. That was good to see. It's a young defense, and the Colts' offensive line is pretty good. So I wasn't concerned about the lack of pressure, really. I don't think Rivers got hit that much. I can only remember 1, maybe 2 sacks off the top of my head. But we have definitely got to tighten up the back end of this defense, and we cannot just allow people to run wide open all over the field on the back end with our corners and our safeties. That was a bit concerning to me. But on obvious running downs, the defense stepped up really, really well. But what I want to talk about the most, woo-wee, that Gardner Minshew, buddy, God, he proved a lot of people wrong yesterday, going 19 of 20. Missed on one throw, 19 out of 20. And that was an impressive performance. And he's got his 7th win as the Jacksonville Jaguars starting quarterback now. And man, was he impressive. He was scrambling out of trouble. There was a few times where he got sacked, and 2 of them, it seemed like completely blown coverage or blocking by the offensive line. And he didn't have much of a chance. He couldn't step up. He couldn't elude. And there was one time where he went to spin out, and there was another defensive player right there that he spun right into. But for the most part, Minshew played lights out. He was hitting everybody. Cole, Conley, Shark, all of them. He was picking people apart, and he was making some great throws yesterday. 19 out of 20. I mean, he threw for less than 200 yards, but the defense, as much as I was saying I would like to see the back end tighten up some, they forced 2 turnovers yesterday. Wingant and C.J. Henderson, both with interceptions. So, I mean, look, when you're playing with short fields, you're not going to have extraordinary passing yard numbers. But he was 19 out of 20, 176 yards, I believe it was, and 3 touchdowns. That is an efficient, impressive day. And I've actually seen some people on the Facebook groups that were knocking it for 176 yards. But you got to take into consideration, one, the new running back. My God, I posted on one of the Facebook pages yesterday. It is amazing what happens when the back sees the hole, runs behind his pads, and runs through the run. And it was impressive to see. He wasn't stutter stepping and waiting for the hole to get bigger. He wasn't lowering his shoulder and then getting tackled by a linebacker. None of that was happening. I mean, the kid hurdled 2 people at one point. It was impressive to see him running the football. An undrafted free agent signing out of Northern Illinois or Northern Iowa, one of those two. He was impressive. And he was at one point gaining 8 yards per carry. I don't know what his final number was, but at one point he was averaging 8 a carry. So that was taking a lot of burden off Minshew as well. So when you got short fields, when you got a running back that's picking up 8 a carry, and then you're looking at 2nd and 3, 2nd and 1, whatever the case may be, and you're running just little out patterns or crossing patterns, whatever the case may be, the numbers are going to be skewed a little bit because it's going to be a down and distance thing where Jay Gruden is calling down and distance plays, so Minshew don't get to air it out or anything like that. And the yards after catch are cut down because you're running shorter patterns. So there's more of a defensive presence there to stop you after the catch. There was a lot that went into those 176 yards yesterday if you stop and realistically think about it. I don't understand all this non-belief in Minshew. We won 6 games last year. 6 games. Who was the starting quarterback of those 6 games that we won? It was not Nick Foles. It was Gardner Minshew. Now in the 2020 season, he's played 1 game, 1 victory for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So all this animosity that people are having towards Gardner Minshew, all these people that are saying that we're in a rebuild or we're tanking for Trevor Lawrence, get off of that train. That is not an accurate train at all. Period. It's not. They are not tanking. They showed you that yesterday because they could have very easily folded if that was the case after the first drive of the first quarter, and then they gave the ball back to the Colts. I think it was like a 2.5-minute drive that we had after the Colts scoring drive, and gave it right back down to them, and the Colts drove down the field again and was in scoring position and went for it on that 4th and 1. They could have easily folded up and been down 14-0 in the first quarter. And, you know, if that was the case, if they were truly tanking, that's what would have happened. That did not happen. These guys are here to play. They want to play. And it seems like the guys that we still have on this roster actually want to be in Duval. So let's get behind these guys. Let's stop talking about this rebuild and this tanking for Trevor nonsense, and stop with this animosity towards Gardner Minshew. We've won 7 games in the last 2 years, and Gardner Minshew has been our quarterback for all 7 of those wins. So Minshew proved that right now he is a pretty good NFL quarterback in year 2. Pretty good. And the kid worked his butt off in the offseason and definitely improved. And the announcers were talking about that on the game yesterday, if you were watching on TV, saying that last year he couldn't scramble and throw. And yesterday he was scrambling and throwing the ball accurately and getting it out on time and accurate down the field. The kid worked his tail off. He wants to be a Jacksonville Jaguar, and most of these guys that are on this team want to be a Jaguar. Gone are the Jalen Ramseys, the Fournettes, the Yannick Ngakwe's, all those guys. They're gone. They're gone. And it's a good thing that they're gone, it looks like, because the morale of that team seemed a hell of a lot better than it did last year. There's no prima donnas on this team anymore. The captain of the defense, Josh Allen, released that statement shortly after Leonard Fournette was gone that he is proud to be a Jacksonville Jaguar and wants to stay in Jacksonville. So we are starting to get a young core group of guys that A, want to win, and B, want to be here. And those two things, if they stay true to what they are right now, is a good recipe for the Jacksonville Jaguars to succeed this season. Now, coming up next Sunday is I don't even like saying their names, but everybody knows who we play next Sunday. And we know what they're going to do. They're going to hand the ball off to Henry 87,000 times in that game because Henry runs over us every time that we play. We're 10.5-point underdogs with the early line. We were 8-point underdogs going into the Colts game, and we're 10.5-point underdogs after that performance yesterday. And the team that will not be mentioned plays tonight on Monday Night Football against the Denver Broncos. But, look, if we can just contain Henry and make Tannehill throw the football some, we're going to be okay. Because that offense can move the football. That offense proved that they could move the football yesterday. And the defense, much like 2017, just a little bit different, but much like 2017, can force a turnover if need be. So look, let's see what the unmentionable team can do tonight on Monday Night Football. Everybody knows what their game plan is going to be. They're going to hand the ball off to Henry. Let's see what they can do. And then let's see how the Jaguars are going to stack up against them. It's a very real possibility that the Jaguars could play 2 games this season, 2 divisional games, and be 2-0 going into week 3 on Thursday Night Football against the Dolphins, who probably will be starting Tua Tagovailoa by that point because Ryan Fitzpatrick was awful against the Pats yesterday. But look, there's reason for optimism, but there's also reason for concern with the Jaguars right now. We're not used to this as Jacksonville Jaguar fans. Normally we have a stout defense and a questionable offense. Now I think the tide has shifted slightly and we're sitting with a stout offense and a questionable defense. And then of course the special teams is on lock because our boy Lambeau, he don't miss at home. So I think we're in a good spot. I will like our spot a hell of a lot better if we can go into Nashville next week and beat the Unmentionables. That would be amazing. Let's see what the Unmentionables have tonight on Monday Night Football against the Broncos, and we'll go from there. But it is a victory Monday. It is a victory Monday that nobody really thought, even some within our fan base thought that we had no shot against the Colts. But here we are on Victory Monday, 1-0. 1-0 in the division. It is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing because I live up here in Colts country. So anytime that we beat the Colts, I am in a great mood. And yesterday was amazing. As always, agree with me, disagree with me, whatever the case may be. Hit those comments below. I respond to every comment. And Jacksonville Jaguar football is back, baby. So let's talk. Be sure to like this video. Be sure to subscribe to this channel by pushing the big red subscribe button down there. I will be doing one of these videos every week for the Jacksonville Jaguars. After I watch the Unmentionables tonight, I almost said their name. I will maybe compare some stats and stuff, and maybe on Thursday or Friday, we'll get a preview of the game going into it and see how that goes. But like, comment, share, hit the subscribe button. Be sure to check out my friends at shadyrays.com if you're in the market for some new sunglasses. If you're in the market for some new Jacksonville Jaguar gear, be sure to head on over to Jacksonville Beach and check out my friends at Sports Mania. And I have started my own company as well, so if you want to check that out, if you're expecting a new little one anytime soon, jeababy.com, and we can get you taken care of with some baby supply needs. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and let's go Jags. Duval!